Hello, I'm Neil Kay, and I'm presently on tour with Praying Mantis here in Japan. And we're going to have an interesting chat for a few minutes and give you a little history about how we all met for the very first time and some of our more interesting experiences. First of all, the guys are going to introduce themselves to you.
My name's Tino Troy. I'm guitarist with Praying Mantis. Pleased to meet you.
Hello, I'm Penny Stratton, and I'm guitarist with Praying Mantis.
Hello, I'm Chris Troy, and I'm bassist with Praying Mantis.
Hi, I'm Bruce Bidden, and I'm the drummer with Deep Purple. I mean, Praying Mantis.
Hi, I'm Dougie White, and I sing for a living.
Hi, I'm Jen Davies, I play the keyboards.
All right, you've met the band now, so what we're going to do is ask the boys some questions about some of the old times and fun that we used to have. First of all, chaps, we're going to talk about the new wave of British heavy metal. And what we're interested in discussing here are some of the experiences when your good selves, Praying Mantis, Iron Maiden, and other bands were bringing their demo tapes into the wagon for the first time. Maybe, Tino, you can tell everybody about the first time that you brought your tape to me at the bandwagon.
Sure, it was a really long time ago. I mean, 1978, I think it was. Was it 78?
Yeah, midsummer.
Just like brought a demo tape of 3 songs along to the bandwagon, and like basically it was based on an audience reaction. And as soon as you played the first song, I think it was Captured City, Neil asked the audience what they thought, and the response was phenomenal. And then there was another 2 tracks that we did, Lovers to the Grave and Johnny Cool, and they also came into a little heavy metal chart that Neil had going with Sounds, a magazine, and from then on it went great.
Yeah, I seem to recall actually that Captured City very soon entered the Soundhouse chart and stayed there for quite a long time. We talked to Dennis as well about his memories at times gone by as a former member of Iron Maiden. I recall that your demo first arrived in my hands from Steve.
Yeah.
Very soon after you cut the demo tape at the end of 1978. Do you want to tell the people a little about the experience?
Well, it was like, it all happened rather very quickly. One minute we were handing a demo tape to Neil, and from there it got into the Soundhouse charts, and Neil promoted it and basically put Iron Maiden on the map. He actually put Iron Maiden on the road. So we were touring, and then we got the deal with EMI, and things just took off from there. There's not a lot more you can say.
Do you believe that it was because the rock people of our country were very starved of true hard rock and were incredibly angry, bored and frustrated by having to suffer the indignity of an anti-music fashion called punk? I put this question first to Dennis.
I feel very strongly about the punks scene because it stopped a lot of good bands getting on. The new wave of heavy metal brought young bands in, and then the older bands, i.e. Shinka, UFO, they'd then come out of the woodwork, the Judas Priest, that have been touring constantly year after year without anyone knowing. So it was a good thing. The new wave of heavy metal was a good thing to come because it pushed the punk scene aside because it was just rubbish. And it gave a good chance for young bands to come through playing their kind of music, and also at the same time giving more promotion to the older bands that have been touring right the way through. They'd always been there. It's never died. It's always been there, but just not so much in the press.
Yes. Yeah, this is one of the sides of how it all kind of started off. Chris, your opinions and feelings concerning the obvious street movement initially that the new wave of British heavy metal was, and what the industry did with it in order to explode it to the people and then fashionalize it towards the end of the time span.
I think, in a way, like what Bruce was saying, in England, unlike most other countries, there's a certain category for a certain brand of music, and it has to fit within that particular slot. With punk, I think in some ways it was good. It sort of like purged the system. You know, where there's all these various things that didn't fall into these categories. It purged the system.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it said, right, now, you know, there's some good bands coming out with, you know, melodic rock and harmonies and everything. And because it was new, they just said, right, let's call it that. New wave of British heavy metal. And a new category was formed.
Who actually invented that phrase?
I actually believe that the term, the new wave of British heavy metal, was in fact a Jeff Barton special. It certainly wasn't mine.
See, and like I said, that new category was formed. And then it was from there that all that impetus
That's
came.
right, yeah. Once you were in that category, then everybody was chucking
Gentlemen,
money.
we have to discuss just very quickly what our feelings are about the future of British heavy metal, which for me is a very difficult subject. Doogie?
I would like to say that I think British heavy metal at the moment is the healthiest it has been for the last 5 or 6 years. I think it's very healthy just now. There are a lot of young, exciting, energetic bands coming through. We have Little Angels, Choir Boys, The Almighty,
Did you say
Thunder.
young?
Yeah.
Young?
I think that
Choir Boys.
I think that it's
Sorry, mate.
it's exciting that I don't know what I wouldn't say that it was a new movement, but what I would say was that the record companies and the radio stations are looking more to Britain than America now for heavy rock bands, because the scene got very, very quiet for a number of years with the kind of melodic rock that the Americans do very well. But when it comes down to ball crunching, real hard, solid energy guitar rock music, with the exception of maybe Guns N' Roses, I think the Brits do it better than anybody else in the world.
Well, sorry, apart from that, for the last couple of years, we've had rap. We've had MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, and
I've never heard of those
the
people
whole market
before.
has been flooded with rap. So the whole radio station, Radio 1, Capital Radio, we get no airplay for rock bands because it's been taken over, as Bruce said, by another trend. We had Wham, now we've got Vanilla Ice and we've got MC Hammer. So now it's all rap. And it's very hard for any young rock band, like Doogie said, to break through because they've not got any chance of airplay because it's being swamped with rap merchandise.
It appears, in fact, that England has still not yet recovered from the current American influence trend that is actually leading the British record industry in circles at the moment. It is getting better.
Radio 1 refused to play an Iron Maiden song because it's too heavy. You know,
It was number one at Christmas, wasn't
ridiculous.
it?
And it did number one at Christmas
And it
without any airplay at all.
Basically,
None at all.
what Britain's starved of is a couple of really good established rock stations,
Yeah.
FM stations, and that'll...
It's too controlled. We need some more, as Tino's saying, we need some more stations that are going to concentrate on rock music. Just, you know, like they've got in America and even
And here at
Japan,
Bay FM, yeah.
Money.
That's what we need.
Yeah, money.
Anyway, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for coming to talk today. I've enjoyed very much interviewing you. I'm very grateful to you all for giving some nice answers. And we call it quits there. Praying Mantis.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Domo arigato, Japan.
Domo
We'll
arigato.
be back.
We will be, don't you worry.